Good morning, everyone, and a very happy Thursday to you all. Thrash It Out Thursday, as you all know. So before we get started on the interview today, I just want to remind you to post any songs in the group that inspire you, because that's the theme for the week. So I am very, very, very excited to announce that I am interviewing the gorgeous, the stunning, the absolutely inspirational Dr. KellyRae Brown. Welcome, KellyRae.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, it's my absolute pleasure. It is my absolute pleasure. Now, a lot of you might know KellyRae. She does contribute quite a lot to the group, and she is an inspiration to me. This is why I'm wanting to interview her today. KellyRae, okay, again, we're getting pen and paper here, people. KellyRae is a spiritual mindset coach. She is a speaker. She is a published author, which I just find amazing. And to me, she is truly an inspirational leader in the healing field and amongst other healers. So to tell you a little bit about how I know Dr. KellyRae, she and I were part of a business support program some time ago for entrepreneurial women. And we're also now in a support group for entrepreneurial women. And we communicate multiple times a day. And, I think I can confidently say that we support each other, KellyRae. And I have had the absolute pleasure of also being on the receiving end of KellyRae's inspirational coaching. And so, yes, I can say I've been a client of KellyRae's, and it was it was a pretty incredible experience. So, KellyRae, I would love for you to tell us all a little bit about your book, Decision Driven Life, because I find anyone who is a published author, I find that so inspirational. Can you tell us a little bit about your book?
Yeah, so Decision Driven Life came about having to do with understanding where our beliefs and the patterns of how we live our life every day affect the ultimate outcome of our success or our inaccess in life. And a lot of that comes from, we make decisions every single day, yet are we really consciously mindful of how those decisions are affecting our life? And that's what this book does, is it looks into kind of going back into beliefs and patterns from very early on and how they're established and how they're formed.
Wow. That's like an encyclopedia's worth of information. That's incredible.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing, and it's actually really fun. Once we kind of get figuring that out, then we can take some steps into making some modifications or changes, or just becoming consciously aware and owning the decisions that we make, as opposed to saying, well, that's how I was raised, or that's what I was taught. I think it's very important for all of us to, at some point in our life, look at those beliefs and thoughts and say, do I still really hold those as my own, or are they somebody else's?
Yeah, that's great. I like the basically what you said, the conscious acknowledgement of what we're actually doing with our lives, rather than just plodding along and just going, well, that's the way it's always been. It's one of the key things in taking control of your own life and becoming your own creator in your own life, which, I know that's something that you also believe in. Man, it's a pretty powerful process. And listen, let me ask you, how do you when you're dealing with clients, when you expose this idea of making conscious decisions, what's the reaction that you get from people?
Well, sometimes I don't necessarily use the word conscious awareness, because a lot of people are thinking that's just hooey or woo type talking. So I would rather just put it on a real general level of so where does that thought come from? Or, where did you learn that belief? Because it really kind of takes people back in their life to kind of ask themselves that. And that will bring it to the conscious awareness, because then they're speaking it out loud now, present time.
Yeah, yeah. And look, talking about where these things come from, I want you to introduce everyone to your beloved Trudy. And just to give everyone a little bit of background, KellyRae's specialty is taming the inner critic. Now, I'm going to let her introduce you to Trudy, and can you see my expression? Because there have been times that I just want to. You got no idea what I want to do to that Trudy sometimes, KellyRae. I'll just like sit here on the other end of the world going, Trudy, go away.
Yeah,
So tell us about your inner critic, Trudy.
I love my inner critic, Trudy. I can't say that I've always loved my inner critic, Trudy, because for one, I didn't even realize she existed. I just thought it was things that were happening in my life were, bad luck or unfortunate or, kind of that victim mentality, which in reality, a lot of the things that happen to us are a result of what we're projecting out, what we're willing to accept. And that comes along with having not a lot of confidence in yourself or holding somebody else responsible for your happiness. And so at some point, I had to learn to take accountability for those thoughts that come in your head, the ones that want to just beat you up profusely. And I like to use the expression, when I'm having a bad day, I feel like Trudy wants to throw me in the trunk and be the one that races down the highway, and I have no control, which is not true. But some days it feels like that when our inner critic is constantly hounding us and just beating us up profusely for no reason. And for me, I never resonated with the term gremlin or monkey mind or lizard brain or any of those things. For me, I had to make it real personal. So I just asked one day, who are you? And the name Trudy came to me, and I'm like, okay, that's unusual. So it's not like a family member or somebody I had a bad experience with or anything like that, because quite honestly, if it was, I wouldn't want them to know that this nasty naysayer inside my head was named after them.
Yeah, and I love the image that you have now of Trudy. And if at all possible, I'm going to try and share that once I post this video to the group of what your Trudy looks like. Or I invite you to post us a picture of Trudy, because it just speaks volumes. And I think that we all have our own. Yeah, I think, mate, I reckon Trudy's going to go, woohoo, I'm out there.
Yeah, I hope not. I'll stick her back in the trunk after I post her picture.
Oh, look, you know what? She might actually enjoy the fame. Ooh, there you go.
Yeah, no, that would scare Trudy.
Okay.
I mean, and that's the beautiful thing actually about our inner critic. If we really get to know who our inner critic is, that naysayer voice inside of our head, we really can learn and grow from that person, because once we start making an advancement or an achievement in our life, that's usually when she starts piping up. Because she's scared of change. She's scared of something being different than what she's always known. And so those are actually triggers for us to realize, oh, I'm really on the right path. But I also need to let her know she's still safe during the process. Because if I don't allow her time to understand that she's safe and have her little temper tantrum, giving her that moment to have her temper tantrum and kind of flail around saying, I'm scared and terrified, then she'll calm down and we can go forward again.
Yeah. And that's a really big, we sort of touched on it when I interviewed Daniela, and that is that aspect of respecting yourself. And, what you just said about, letting Trudy know that she's safe and loved, that is speaking directly to respecting an aspect of yourself. that you need to acknowledge before you can actually move on from it. I think we do have the potential to move forward in life with very minimal self-doubt in our lives. It rears its ugly head every now and again, like your lovely little Trudy, who needs to stay in the trunk. But I think that is such a big part of overcoming that aspect of things, is that acknowledgement. And with you actually, putting a name and a face to Trudy, she has that acknowledgement, and I think that's absolutely amazing.
Well, yeah, because the bottom line is we incarnated in this planet to experience life here on Earth. And as we know, for any of us that have been on this planet longer than 5 minutes, life has lots of diversity to it. It has lots of hills, valleys, and depths and highs. And so to think that we could go along life just like this is not sustainable.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? Look, touching on that as well, I'd like you to tell us a little bit about the intuitive side of the work that you do. And I know that you connect quite strongly with the energetic forces of astrology, astronomy, with the planets. Can you tell us a little bit about how you incorporate that into your work? Because I find that really fascinating. And particularly, Can you tell everyone what's happened in the last couple of weeks, and they could just chill and go, it's not all my fault?
Well, what I can say for right now is make sure you're hanging on to the bar on that roller coaster as we kind of go through these curves and stuff. So look, I mean, in all honesty, it took me a very long time to say out loud that I understood the energetic feeling and cognitive knowledge that comes through for our planetary alignment. To explain how specifically, I don't even know myself. I do look to develop that. I do train with a man that's in Costa Rica who's been a great inspiration for helping to confirm what it is that I know or what I'm continuing to get. But the thing is more for the intuition part is, and for anybody else that has that out there, is learning to trust your intuition. Because sometimes it doesn't make sense to you, and it may not make sense to somebody else at the time, but that seed is planted, and later on they're going to be like, oh yeah, I got that, or you might even do that. So for me, with what I'm seeing with the planets is we're almost kind of going through kind of a labor, I'm going to say. And I know for any men that are on the on this webinar, you may not relate to labor yourself, but if you've been with a woman who's had labor and you've had the unfortunate pleasure of needing to hold her hand during that process, you can relate to this as well. There's a certain squeezing that happens to where we feel like we're being constricted. And so we're trying to fight against that. We want to move through it because it's really uncomfortable. But what happens as a part of that birthing is a new creative process and an opening. An opening is going to be coming very soon for us within the next few weeks. It should feel a little less tense than it's been feeling for the month of April. So just kind of hang on a little bit longer. Yeah. Allow yourself to rest. Allow yourself to just take a break. Allow yourself to not resist and push against what's not working, because the only thing that's going to happen is your inner critic, Trudy, or whatever you name your inner critic, is going to just raise their ugly head and fight you on it because you're resisting something. Yeah. It's like when, if anybody's ever listened to Abraham Hicks, Esther talks about taking your canoe down to the river and you face your canoe up the current and you row and you row and you row against that current. And at the end of the day, you have not moved at all, but you're exhausted. Sometimes we just have to stop rowing, let our boat turn naturally and go in the current in the direction we want it to go.
I'll just throw a picnic rug on the bank of the river and just sit there with some
Right.
pate and cheese and crackers.
Right.
Just watch the world go by.
Right, exactly. Because you know what? It's not going to do that every day, and we're not going to get stuck in that every day. We will only get stuck in that if we resist it. So giving yourself permission to do that, then you kind of ease and move free again.
Yeah. So look, I mean, that to me is awesome information, and I know that there's been something like 5 planets in retrograde this month, and all sorts of weird, I was going to swear then, all sorts of weird stuff happening energetically.
Right. With retrogrades, those are also times to reflect, to release, to look back. It's also a big time when some of our past comes back again. Specifically, people from our past will kind of surface, and you're thinking, okay, I will swear here. What the hell? What are you doing here? But it's
swearing.
But it's almost a time period for us to look and see, one, where is it something that we still need to look at in our life and need to release? Is it a way of measuring where we've come from? Or is it a way of saying, I still want those things in my life? You know, they're not bad things, as long as, it just depends on how we look at them. But for people not to be surprised when all this past stuff starts coming up.
So I'm just going to just take it back a second and just refer back to what you consider to be swearing. Like, for anyone watching this, KellyRae and I are very similar in our belief systems, in the way that we work, and the way we run our businesses as well. Except I often refer to myself as like, the big blustery breeze that comes, like the big wind that comes in and just, blows everything out. I use terms like, blowing the shit out of stuff, and, and here is the wonderfully calm and the gentle, soothing breeze that is my darling KellyRae. Mate, the number of times I've lost my shit, and KellyRae's just gone, Adele. I just go, okay. Okay. So is it any wonder, guys, that I find this woman so inspirational? She has the ability to, mate, she just takes the crap out of everything that you're experiencing, but in such a gentle way. And I find that really inspiring, because I'm much more of a get the dynamite and blow that shit out of the water kind of person. Right? And as I said, my darling KellyRae just does it with gentle finesse. It's something I aspire to. I don't know that I'll ever get there. I'm a bit raw and rough and ready for that sort of thing. KellyRae, with our focus being inspiration this week, can I ask you, just on a final note, what actually inspires you on a daily basis, either personally or in business? What is it that you find inspiring about what you do?
There is nothing. Oh my gosh, this could be, a 2-day event just talking about what inspires me. Specifically, what inspires me is helping others. There's something so amazing and such an honor and a blessing to be a part of somebody's transformational journey, to watch somebody go through and heal parts of themselves that maybe have been holding them back or causing them to struggle in their life. And they do that themselves. It's not something outside of them that causes that to happen at all. It's all them. And the fact that they would trust me, trust you, trust other people in this field of work to help them get to that place, to be a mirror for them and a support and a comfort and hold loving space for them to do that. there is no greater honor in this world, I don't think, than to do that.
You're right. Absolutely right. I can honestly say I feel the same way. It really is an honor when you're chosen to help these people to get to whatever it is that they want in life, and it's a very humbling experience being able to help those people. And you're right, it is absolutely inspiring, and watching them, go down their own path and, slay their own demons and put their own Trudy in the trunk.
Yes, because honestly, it takes great courage to do that. It's not enough to take great courage to go jump out of a perfectly flying plane with a parachute on, because for some people that's really exciting and thrilling to them. To me, there's no greater courage in this world than it is to take a look at oneself and decide, hey, you know what? I need to make some changes in my life. That's the greatest courage there is in this planet.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm just on a side note here. I have jumped out of a plane, and I'm telling you right now, parachute or not, it takes courage. It's a scary thing to do. Who thought jumping out of a plane at 14,000 feet was a good idea? I don't care if I've got a freaking parachute and another person on my back controlling it. No!
Yeah, that's pretty brave. That's pretty brave.
Yeah.
But that's just a little glimpse of time compared to, okay, I'm going to make a change in my life that's going to affect the rest of my life. Although jumping out of a plane and surviving is probably life-changing as well.
It was the first thing I said. I said, I'm still alive. Oh. Anyway, Dr. KellyRae, thank you so much for joining me this morning. I am going to post a link into the group for your book, Decision Driven Life, which is actually available on Amazon. And anyone who's interested, anyone who really feels that they need to look at their own conscious creation through their decision-making process, I highly recommend reading Dr. KellyRae's book. So I've been Adele. This has been the gorgeous Dr. KellyRae, and I thank you all so much for watching.
Thank you, everyone.
So much. Okay. Bye, everyone. Have a great day.